Hi and welcome to Project to Things. My name's Yves. In this episode I'm going to show you a few different ways to make phone and tablet holders using all different kinds of materials. So the concept is quite easy. We're going to use a few different pieces of scrap wood I had laying around for this. There is some bankirei, which came from an old terrace. Then there's this piece of wood. It's a light colored softwood, but it's very smooth. It's great. I used it to make sauna benches in the past. I'll put a link up here to that video. Then we have a thing called cambara. It's more of a hardwood. The scrap of that. And then good old Baltic birch plywood. So we're going to make one of each and I'll show you the process. Now the first phone holder I'm going to show how to make is a slightly wider one. It has about the same size as an actual smartphone. I used my miter saw to cut the piece of abachi to size and then made a groove of exactly 13 millimeters. We want the cut in this to be at an edge, and from some drawings I saw on the interwebs, the best angle was 60 degrees opposed to the table surface. So I cut a triangle with two sides at 60 degrees and used this as a guide to guide my Japanese pull saw. After a few strokes, the angle was set and I could get to cutting. You make a bunch of parallel lines that then quite easily fall apart when you introduce Mr. Chisel. I then used the same chisel to clean up all the irregular parts and finished with a square file and sandpaper. You can sand this down to any grit you want, but I stopped at 120. The next piece is almost similar, but it is the compact version of the same thing. Again, using the miter saw, we cut small pieces out. These are 60 millimeters each, and they're about 1 inch on each side. The slot again is 13 millimeters wide, and it's about 1 centimeter deep. And then again, using a Japanese pull saw or any type of thin saw, you make 2 incisions, followed by some creative chiseling to get the pieces out. The previous was a softwood, and this wood is cambara, which is a harder wood, so all of it takes a little bit more effort. Once everything is cut to size, I used a sanding board to get rid of all the sharp edges and slightly chamfer each side, because this is something that's going to live on a key holder. I pre-drilled a hole for the eyelet to go through, and now this can live on someone's keys as a keychain. could effectively make the same thing faster with power tools. Here I'm using the bandsaw to cut a few parallel lines. This is just to weaken the wood. And then instead of using a chisel, I bandsawed out most of the material. Now we're making an iPad holder. This can be used in a kitchen or any other place where you want to use an iPad to read off of for a longer period of time. I angled the blade of my table saw at 60 degrees and used a crosscut sled to take out all of the material. You're then left with some rough edges, and those can be shaped again with a chisel and file. And this is a project that my neighbor came up with, so most of these items are actually going to her, and so she decided to come and help out. The triangle piece is almost the same. It hugs your phone from the side and it requires a straight groove. So regardless if you're using a bandsaw or any type of hand tools, you make a straight cut that's about 1 centimeter deep and 11 to 13 millimeters wide, depending on the size of your phone. And again, some chisel magic, finish it all off. Then the same process is repeated of filing things down and sanding it smooth. Voila, so and after sanding we now have a pale version of this thing. The version I showed you with the bandsaw and everything is made from the Kambara wood, but in effect you can make just the same thing using this abachi stuff. So the next thing I'm going to try and do is make a very small one out of 2 pieces of glued together Baltic birch. I glued up 2 offcuts to create a slightly wider piece. And the rest of the techniques are essentially the same. Shape things with a file, cut out the notch, and then sand. I did use a hand plane here because it makes beveling the sides a lot quicker. So this is a great project to get rid of any small scraps that you normally deem too small to do anything with. And also, if you have the time, you can do it all using simple hand tools and the result will be the same. Well, and that's it. How to make very simple phone holders. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you like these things I do, then please consider subscribing. There should be a button to do so below. And also off to the side here will be videos all about making stuff. So thank you, till next time, bye.